Hey guys, welcome back to Dave Does It. I'm Dave, and sometimes I do things. And one of the things we're doing today is we're talking about our Alaskan camper sidewall repair. So I didn't think that this would take as long as it has. So I'm going to share a bit with you because this sidewall we are going to tear apart together and do the repair. Mainly for the simple fact of its content. But I'd like to document it. So when I was trying to get ideas for this, I've seen a couple pictures that were shared, but there was no like start to finish process on how people did it and some of the problems they encountered and while they arose. So I wasn't going to cover this side at all, mainly because it's tight up against the workbench, but I already did one side. And I did that to kind of get an idea of what we were getting into so I can make good content for you guys, right? So here we go. So this is the side. It's hard to film, but we already got this wall rebuilt. So we took it all the way up to this main stringer, sectioned a small piece in here that was rotted, but we got good screws into the main beam. And then, I don't know if you can see that, we bought a wide crown stapler. And in some of the key spots, they got some wide crown staples. This was a little overwhelming for myself. I wasn't really prepared for as much rot as we had in here. So, you know, as we've seen in some old videos, the bottom aluminum was rotted. And I was assuming it was just this bottom piece and maybe some stringers. Well, I mean, as you can see, we had to go up the whole corner, all the way up into here, and pretty much rebuild the whole wall, except for the main beam. You know, we just had to section these end pieces in. I did go a little overboard on the construction adhesive, and I changed some of the measurements. So this mid support I moved down. You can see where it used to be on the luan here. And the reason I did that is to add this other support. This one's a little goofy. I had to put some screws in it because it split when I screwed it in. But the roof rack support brace, when I took it apart, barely caught the outside edge, like right in here. And it was perfectly in line with where this beam used to be. So I wanted to put another runner in here with the construction adhesive. It's screwed to make sure I got a good bite on that roof rack support. So as you've seen in the thumbnail picture, it was pretty alarming when I took the end cap off and peeked in there. And it looks like this side does. Like you kind of see this. I mean, in camera, I guess it doesn't do it very good justice because it's just dark. But it kind of crushed me. I didn't think it was going to be that terrible. I learned a lot in this process. I had to buy some more tools that I didn't have. I got to use some cool tools that I've had and didn't have a use for. And I'll share some pictures in here. I didn't document this very well because, again, I didn't intend on making a video for you guys, but I want to make a good video of doing the passenger side wall with you guys to kind of document the process start to finish. So that might be either an extremely long video that'll allow other Alaskan owners to see and get an idea. I don't think I'm gonna break that up into a multi-part series. But this is taking longer than I thought, just for some things I've encountered and, you know, some other areas I want to address that I wasn't originally going to get into. So I'll share some still photos here of when we cracked the side open, the rot we saw, starting to peeling the tin back, and just the amount of, I guess, mold and fungus that was growing in there. I mean, it was terrible. It was growing into the window tracks, and you know, I cut some pieces out and I was going to try to section lumber in, but the way that the luan was also rotted between the veneer and the actual wood, it kind of crumbled too, and all the boards ended up peeling off really easy with the scraper. I had to use a multi-tool to cut a couple fasteners, which wasn't terrible. As you can see in the photos here, I pretty much removed the entire wall. And actually in this photo, you can see there's that one beam that's still in there up towards the top of the front. I ended up removing that as well, and we started from scratch all the way down to what you just see now when we did the walk around. So one of the issues that I did encounter, though, however, was trying to find material. So I wanted to use Douglas fir, just because it's a little more, I guess, weather resistant, right? The original material was a laminate Douglas fir. I could not find or special order within reasonable cost a 2x2 piece of fir. There's a couple guys that have used cedar. They like using the redwood wood because it's resistance to rot and moisture, but it's extremely soft. So I was a little hesitant by that. Some other people on the group and in the forum said they did that. I have a photo here I could show you. We ended up making our own laminate beams. So we took a sheet of plywood, we cut 8-foot section, 2 8-foot sections and 2 4-foot sections, and we overlapped all of them, and we did a 12-foot long glue up. And you can see that here I had it all my clamps on the sawhorses, and we made our beam. I ended up going down to the local lumber mill that I bought the sheet of marine grade plywood, which is Douglas fir with waterproof glue, and they cut my 1.5-inch strips for me on their big table saw, so I didn't have to try to manage them on my little table saw. What you see here, these are some of the laminates that we made out of some scrap pieces. So I glued all these back up and I cut these little pieces on my table saw. But it's just 3/4 inch marine grade plywood glued together, cut into strips. And hopefully this works well. Before we close up the other end, we're going to try to do a little more of some waterproofing treatment. So I'm going to go get some wood sealer, and I'm going to brush a few coats of wood sealer on this. I am going to also pull all the tin off the roof. One, just because I want to inspect around the front vent hole because there was water getting in that. But two, we're going to end up kind of treating this camper like a house. So this camper is in the era of the leaky windows. I have since talked to Brian Wheat with Wheat's Alaskan Camper Restoration, and he told me why these windows leak and how we're gonna fix this problem. And it's a lot simpler than one might think, but that's the reason why these get rotted. As you can see here, the other side, you got the corrosion in the tin. By the time it gets to this point, there's just nothing left. So we're gonna address these windows. I was also thinking about, since we're pulling the tin off, we're gonna treat it like a house. So I'm gonna Tyvek wrap the whole camper before we put the aluminum back on. And I'm hoping that will help with some of the water from condensation. Because as you know, anything that's aluminum or metal, has the potential to sweat. And I don't know if that's necessarily a cause for concern, but we're this far in, it's minimal work to pull the roof off. So we're going to Tyvek wrap the camper. Every little bit helps just to get some kind of moisture barrier in here. Plus with sealing up the windows, how they're, I guess not how they're supposed to be, but how they're supposed to be now to prevent them from leaking in the future. And then hopefully this camper will outlast me. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick update, kind of like where we're at, what we did. Putting that sidewall back together was kind of fun. It took way longer for how simple it is. It took way longer than I thought it would. Just for doing the glue up, because we had to be mindful of the laminate on the backside. You can kind of see it in here. I mean, that was pretty tore up. When we jacked the roof up to add the lower hardware, we're gonna have to, trim up some of this construction adhesive and things like that. But that's what all these grooves are. Is the Luan's gone? So we still have Luan in some places. This is just the laminate on the inside, so there's no structural support here anymore. I don't think this camper is going to be serviceable again for a rebuild, mainly because I way overdid it on the construction adhesive. But I wanted to make sure it was solid and kind of stuck together. We did screw everything. We built it from the top down, which is kind of backwards. I'm pretty sure when they make these campers, they assemble this whole wall piece and then it gets affixed up top. But we're just making the best of the situation that, we have here at hand. I did have a little issue with a little bit of rot in this corner. I'll show you. And that's all it was, just this corner. I brushed some wood hardener on here, picked out the soft stuff, and just filled it with construction adhesive. I don't want to replace this whole back wall just for that little corner. And I was still able to get a good bite into it. That's a 3-inch long screw. So I'm being hopeful. We're gonna have a good video moving forward, doing this whole wall with you guys, and kind of show you in the process, start to finish. I don't know how soon that's gonna be. I'm hoping sooner than later. Now that the weather's nice, we'll be able to start marching forward again. But it's just some little things. You know, this bulkhead, I have to peel this top bulkhead off and look at that piece of ply, because in the corner here, it's a little soft. I was poking at it with a screwdriver. It's not terribly bad, but it's easy to look at now. And it's the same thing with this main runner here. I mean, it's a little discolored. It's not super soft. I was poking on it with the screwdriver. I think worst case scenario, I might just section a small piece in, kind of like what I did over here. But I'd probably lap joint this one with the ply. So I'd come in here with the multi-tool and make a slice halfway so it has like a stepped lap joint to glue a piece in and screw it. But yeah, I don't know. I think it came out pretty good. Like I said, during this process, I'll throw in some still photos that I took. I didn't document this because I didn't intend on covering it, just because of how hard it is to film on this side. You know, there's limited workspace. And I wasn't sure what I was doing at that time. And I still really don't know what I'm doing. We just figure it out as we go. But that's part of being real, right? That's the content creation and figuring these projects out. It's overwhelming, but, you know, you just take it one step at a time and you get through it. You know, like, I couldn't find material. I made my own material. I'm pretty proud of that. You know, I did this sketch. This is what the sidewall originally looked like. And we modified it a little bit, you know. I mean, I know this isn't to scale, looking at some of these measurements, but, you know, we moved some stuff around. We also did abandon the shore power plug that's in the top. So I completely removed that. That changed the framing aspect a little bit also, because it was originally framed to support that box for the electrical plug. But now that our Victron setup that we're running is all in the lower half, we're going to do an actual 30 amp shore power plug. And the lower portion of the camper, probably in this rear kickout down here. And that would kind of be unique to my camper too, because it's, you know, full width, since it was optioned with that gray water tank I keep talking about. I did think about cutting the wings back here and making it like a normal Alaskan and getting rid of the rear tail lights and all that. That's a bit much. The core structure is solid, and it's like, how deep do I want to go? You know, I keep making this a bigger project for myself than it needs to be, but all in all, I'm happy with how it's going so far. It has been a little slow, like I said, which is why I'm giving you guys this update, kind of showing you what I went forward with, what I found, and preparations to make a good documented video. So hopefully this helps somebody else with their Alaskan when they go forward, just because I was struggling with that. I know a lot of people do the same thing. They just dive into it and figure it out as they go. But it's nice to have something to reference or get a how-to and see how somebody else did it, just to give yourself ideas and help build confidence, you know. I've never done anything like this. I never rebuilt a camper. You know, this is my first camper. And I wouldn't even say that I'm a woodworker. I have some woodworking tools, but I don't know what I'm doing. And that's just part of being real with it and making the best out of what you have. So moving forward, we still got these little laminate pieces. I have one 12-footer left to cut up. And then these are the two long ones for the lower that are already cut to length. There's a 10-footer and a 9'6". So I think we have enough material here between the 12-footer and these little scraps I glued up out of the old piece of plywood. I did have to go buy another sheet of plywood to do the radius square on the opposite side. You can see that piece right there. So worst case scenario, we do have more material to do another glue up and make more laminate 2x2s. But that's pretty much it for right now. This is what I've been doing, kind of poking around, getting ideas. I'm trying to figure out how much tin I'm going to replace. I definitely know I'm probably going to be ordering these side panels. Talking to the Alaskan camper guys now, they kind of got rid of the two-tone. They still have these available and I could order it like this, but they've been making them just this solid white piece all the way down. So I think I'm going to replace those. I don't know if I'm going to keep the accent color or just go with the single white. But a lot of the ones on the other side, they're all corroded in the overlap joint, and that overlap joint is what keeps it watertight. So it's either put it back together, use an ungodly amount of sealant and hope for the best, or spend a little bit of money and get some more tin. So we're going to get some more tin. It's going to be interesting moving forward. Like some of this lower hardware, you don't have access to because of the overlap from the top and bottom shells. So we're also going to have to come up with a way to jack the top up higher past the lower shell in order to put the hardware back in, to replace the hardware. But that's good because that'll be prime time to also reseal the hydraulic jacks. And that's simple. I got O-rings at a local hydraulic shop. I bought an extra set. I ended up getting 8 of them for like $2. So that wasn't as devastating as I thought it was going to be. I did find some old forum posts about doing the jacks, and it's really straightforward and simple. I mean, I could do them one by one right now if I wanted to. But since we got to jack the whole top up anyways, we have to unbolt them. So I just figured that might work out a little better. But we're still moving forward. We'll have some more Alaskan content coming shortly. And this is just a quick update for where I've been, kind of what I've been doing, and trying to get an idea to make some content for you guys and to explain how this whole sidewall process ends up working. But I'm happy with how the repair's coming out. I don't know what I'm going to do for insulation yet. I might just put foam board back in there. I was looking at wool rock because it has a higher R value, but it's like a sponge, so to hold moisture like the old fiberglass insulation did. So I'm probably going to go either use foam board again because I have some scrap pieces laying around the garage here, or I might just spray foam the cavities and hope for the best. We'll see. But I don't know. I mean, if you have any ideas or something that I did wrong or how I can make this side better, let me know in the comments. You know, I greatly appreciate it. I do read all the comments. I appreciate your guys' support. And we just take it, I guess, one video at a time. So thank you guys for joining in. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. It helps me and my channel greatly. And remember, kindness is free. It doesn't cost you anything to be a decent person, and try to inspire someone. Thank you, guys.